This is what I'm talking about.
Deadpool movies are usually all fun and frolic. There's humor, there's the epic destruction of the fourth wall by the Merc with a Mouth, there's a lot of gunslinging, and of course, you get a bit of grim undertone to all the banter. But nothing too nasty. Nothing that your heart wouldn't be able to digest. But, and it's a big but, I mean the one with a capital B and a single T, the new trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine had this super grim moment where it turns out that Cassandra Nova's hideout, her grim lair, is actually the pruned and hollowed out skeleton of Giant Man, the giant version of Ant-Man. Who's Cassandra Nova? Well, she's only the super evil twin sister of Professor X. Of course, she wants to dominate the universe, and she has the balls or the bald head to do it because she is all things Professor X and more. I mean, this woman is what Charles could have been, all the powers and abilities carefully cooked in evil sauce. But I digress. The entire trailer was filled with several Easter eggs, and likewise, the Giant Man corpse was seen somewhere else before being featured in the trailer. Where? The 2009 comic titled Wolverine Old Man Logan. Needless to say, this comic is going to be a serious point of reference for the upcoming Deadpool movie. You see, there are several subplots in Deadpool and Wolverine that seem to have been inspired by Old Man Logan comics. For instance, the trailer seems to suggest that Wolverine did something terribly wrong in his universe, which led to the disrespect he has earned for himself. In Old Man Logan's fifth part, it was revealed that Wolverine, under the influence of Mysterio, killed several of the X-Men because Mysterio made him believe that they were villains. Now, getting back to the Giant Man corpse that Cassandra uses as her lair, in part 6 of the comic, we get the first glimpse of the Giant Man corpse in Connecticut. In fact, a town called Pym Falls developed around the remains of Hank Pym's Giant Man. Oh yeah, this one was Hank Pym and not Scott Lang. So what really happened was, the villains in Old Man Logan realized that they outnumbered the heroes 20-1, and if they only banded together in a more organized fashion, they would easily defeat the heroes and take over the world. And take over the world, they did. Territories are now ruled by villains like Kingpin and Doctor Doom. Most heroes are gone, except for a few like Hawkeye and Wolverine. Hawkeye, now blind as Clint Barton, and Wolverine, who hasn't used his claws in 50 years, are the survivors. One of these superheroes who laid down their lives was Hank Pym in his Giant Man form. But who killed him? Was it Cassandra? Well, no. Hank was slain by the Captain America villain Red Skull. Now, while all this happened on Earth 21923, Red Skull's infamous but sexy ride was also featured in the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer. Although the car was given a paint job to give it this Iron Man vibe, it's unknown if it was Red Skull who was driving it. Furthermore, you can see the car parked outside the Ant-Man head lair thing, where we also have more mutants waiting for Miss Nova. Who are these? There was definitely Lady Deathstrike, Azazel, possibly Toad, and Sabretooth. Speaking of the scene, did you notice that Cassandra comes out of Giant Man's mouth, which opens slowly to reveal her? Furthermore, on the left and right side of his head, you would notice his arms. So it seems like Cassandra used his entire body to build herself a humble abode. That's some really dark and ballsy stuff. I mean, it's one thing to kill a man, but to use his body as your office cabin? Well, that's pretty effing grim. Then again, who are we to judge? But the whole Ant-Man skull thing could be happening because of a whole other reason, and his name is Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror's MCU fate is up in the air after Jonathan Majors' 2023 legal issues and exit from Marvel. He first showed up as a variant in Loki Season 1. Although not confirmed for Deadpool and Wolverine, Kang might still pop up, potentially with a new actor. Fans are keen on a recast, hoping it'll tie up some unresolved Kang storylines. And even if Kang isn't in Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie's first trailer might be teasing a clue about his impact. Kang the Conqueror was first seen in Loki as variants like He Who Remains and Victor Timely, but Kang himself really took the spotlight in 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Anyway, although Quantumania set up Kang as a major threat in the MCU's multiverse saga, there's been no follow-through. No heroes have been killed by Kang on screen, and Ant-Man even defeated him by the end of Quantumania. With Marvel potentially stepping back from Kang's storyline and maybe introducing a new villain, it's uncertain if Kang's threat will ever be explored further in the films. Deadpool and Wolverine could bring Kang the Conqueror back into the spotlight. The movie's trailer shows Deadpool and Wolverine in the void at the end of time, where pruned items from the Time Variance Authority land. Here they find the decaying body of Ant-Man in Giant Man form, suggesting the TVA pruned him in some timeline. Since Kang's variant, He Who Remains, founded the TVA to maintain the sacred timeline, Ant-Man's pruning indirectly ties back to Kang, which is his first step towards fulfilling his threat in Quantumania of killing an Avenger. Despite mixed reactions, Quantumania introduced Kang in all his evil glory with Ant-Man in the Quantum Realm, where he hints at having killed versions of the Avengers, including Thor. If he could kill Thor, I hardly think that taking down Hank Pym or even Scott Lang would be a major issue for him. The presence of other superpowered beings in the Void could also mean that the Time Variance Authority also had a hand in defeating more heroes and villains than we know, and that the TVA is secretly working to fulfill Kang's mission. However, there's a timeline snag. Deadpool and Wolverine seem to be set before Loki, as the TVA recruited Deadpool to protect the sacred timeline. Loki Season 1 ended with the destruction of the sacred timeline and the multiverse going wild, which Loki resolved by the end of Season 2. If Deadpool and Wolverine occurs earlier, Kang might not be a threat yet, though He Who Remains might still have his eye on the mutants. Irrespective of the reasons, we know that Deadpool and Wolverine is gonna be awesome, unless Marvel Jesus, no, not Deadpool, but the real Marvel Jesuses at Disney and Marvel Studios executive offices don't mess up. Fingers crossed.